The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely, goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Whether you have been in church all your life or you've never stepped foot in one, you've probably heard this psalm more than any other. And recently, I've been revisiting this psalm, and it has lifted me, been a reminder, and it has checked me. It has made me look at my current relationship with God and question whether I really know him as my shepherd. And I wonder how many of us are walking around quoting scriptures that hold such power, truth, and comfort without taking them root in our own hearts. Can we talk about it? Hey, y'all. I'm Seneca, and this is Exhaled Hope, where we have real conversations about faith in the middle of the mess. No hype, no guilt, no pretending we have it all together, just truth that leaves us with real hope. Psalm 23 is the equivalent of the Lord's Supper painting being hung in Christian homes across the world. Right next to that painting would be a plaque of this psalm. And there are parts of this psalm that definitely hit and are more favorable to recite than others. But can I tell you where I have been stuck for weeks? The first verse. First line. Psalm 23, 1a. 5 words. The Lord is my shepherd. Yo, what does that even mean? I mean, it's easy to recite scripture we've memorized, whether by choice or by force. But when we don't know what it means and how it speaks to our actual lives, it carries no weight. It becomes decoration. Something we say, but we don't feel. Something we post, but we haven't processed. Before I want to go any further, I really want to slow down on these 5 words because every single one of them carries weight. Let's start with the Lord. That's God, Yahweh, Jehovah. Not a concept, not a feeling. A person with a name is. Present tense. Not was, not will be, but right now. My. Yo, that's personal. He's not our, not general, not people who have it all together. Mine. And then shepherd. One who tends to sheep. And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. But here's the truth. I can walk around saying, the Lord is my shepherd. But what does it mean for him to be my shepherd? And if he is my shepherd, what does that require of me? The first question I had to ask myself was, what even is a shepherd? So here's what I found out. Back in the day, a shepherd wasn't just a job title. It was a lifestyle. A shepherd lived with their flock. There was no such thing as clocking out at 5 p.m. The flock was their full responsibility, and the sheep were completely dependent on them. A shepherd's job was to lead, feed, protect, and restore. The shepherd was responsible for going out and scouting the land before the flock was moved. They ensured the path was safe, that the water was clean, and that the pasture was good. They knew every sheep by name. And they carried protection. A rod to fight off predators and a staff to keep sheep from wandering. If sheep got injured, they didn't call the vet. The shepherd tended to it. If one got lost, the shepherd left the group to go find the one that was lost. We know God by many titles, but the fact that David referenced him as a shepherd brings me comfort. Because the reality is, I can call God creator, and that would be accurate. I can call him king, and that too would be accurate. I can even call him almighty, and I'd be respectful in my address to him. But the difference between those titles, creator, king, almighty, is that they rule from a throne. But a shepherd, he walks with me. And I find comfort in knowing the same God who is the creator and who is almighty and who is king is also my shepherd who walks with me. And to call God our shepherd isn't just poetry. It's a relationship status. It's an update on your Facebook page. It's a claim and a declaration of our relationship. And he's not just any shepherd. Let's be clear. Because in John 10:11, he makes it clear that he is the good shepherd. The good shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep. Then he further explains why this is different from the hired hand, because the hired hand doesn't have ownership of the sheep. So when wolves or trouble comes, he runs away. The hired hand is only there for a paycheck, not for protection or provision of his sheep. And a good shepherd not only protects you and provides for you, but he knows you. John 10:14 says, I know my own, and my own know me. Now, I put that swag on there. Jesus may not say it like that, but you get the point. Not know of you, not knows about you. He knows you. He knows your wandering, your wounds, your worst moments, your weakest spots, and he still leads. The shepherd is good, not just because of what he does, but because of who he is. His good isn't circumstantial. It's his nature. It's funny to me how we read scripture, because we often read it from a vantage point that is primarily selfish benefit. We're all guilty of it. We skip the stuff that's not all blessings and hopeful and stick to the we stick to the feel good parts of scripture. And I think we do something similar with Psalm 23:1. Here's the part we skip over. If he is my shepherd and your shepherd, then what does that make us? It makes us his sheep, which at first glance doesn't seem like a problem until we're honest with ourselves and recognize that we don't always like to be sheep. Because here's the deal. Sheep don't have a great reputation. They're not getting a 5-star review anytime soon. They're not the fierce ones. They're not the independent ones. Sheep are honestly helpless. They are one of the few animals without a defense system. They are known for being overly confident, rebellious, distracted, and they wander away. Who does that sound like? And they easily drown. That's when they actually take a drink of water, because they're also afraid of running water. So much so that the shepherd has to steal the water by moving stones before they can drink. They follow each other off cliffs. They are easily spooked, and they need constant tending. They are in need of a shepherd. And I think we resist that image because it requires us to admit something we don't like admitting, that we too need to be led. We need a shepherd. We want the promises of this psalm without the posture it requires. We want, I shall not want, without surrendering control. We want the green pastures and the quiet waters, but we want to find them ourselves on our own terms and on our own timeline. But here's the truth. You only experience the fullness of Psalm 23 when you follow the shepherd. The sheep that wanders doesn't get to lie down in green pastures. They're too busy being lost. The sheep that refuses to be led to water stays thirsty. The covering, the provision, the protection, it flows from proximity to the shepherd. Following the shepherd isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And this is where it all connects. The second portion of Psalm 23:1 says, I shall not want. That's the promise. But you don't get to the promise without the posture. In order to get to the second line, we have to surrender to the first. When we allow God to be our shepherd and follow him, we shall not want. So here's where I want to leave you. Do you actually know your shepherd? Not just the psalm, not just the words, but the person the psalm speaks of. Don't get lost in the beauty of the words and miss that this is a relationship. And like any relationship, it only becomes real when you dedicate time to it. This week, I want to challenge you to sit with the first verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And ask yourself some questions. Do I follow him? Do I really trust him to lead me? Are there areas in my life where I'm wandering on my own because I haven't actually surrendered that ground to him yet? And if the honest answer is, I'm not sure, that's cool. It's actually a pretty dope place to start because the shepherd doesn't wait for you to have it all together before he comes looking. Right there in your honest uncertainty, he will roll up on you. And when he does, just let him lead. Y'all, we only made it through one verse today. And that's kind of the point. This psalm deserves that kind of time. So, welcome to season 2 as we start the Psalm 23 series. We're just getting started, and I believe by the time we walk through this together, we're all going to be a little different. So if this episode spoke to you, share it. Slide in my DMs. Let's talk about it. And come back next week. And we're going a little bit deeper. Y'all, I'm Seneca. And this is Exhaled Hope. Until next time.